The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Crystal Mitchell, do you have
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And Crystal,
we have an exciting show today. Today we have sitting in with us Miss Linda Morgan Sams, but now Miss Sams. She also has a show. I had a show. It's on hiatus for the present moment here at Morris Media Studios called
Jazzabrations and Beyond.
That's right.
Jazzabrations and Beyond. And that idea came with you being a guest on the show, weren't you?
Absolutely. My first bug stinging right here with you two.
Right.
Beautiful. I remember that.
She got hit with the podcast bud, and she's like, I want to do this. And next thing I know, she had a Sunday afternoon show.
And we lasted for 2 years, you guys.
So
before I went on hiatus.
You're a part of the Villagers too, right? With Miss Gloria.
Yes, I am.
Willingham.
Yes, I am.
Torre.
Yes.
Oh, that's the lady that tuned in with us and has been promoting us all over
Villagers,
social media.
yes.
Absolutely.
So we got to give shout out to Miss Gloria Willingham Torre.
And is the village Lemert?
No.
Oh,
this is her
village.
global village. Yes.
Global
She gave me an award last year.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And so me and Jock committed to doing a table of youth this year.
Small business.
To come to the event.
Small business village.
It is going to be in May. So that is incredible. Yes, Miss Gloria, shout out to you, dear. And I know she already said she's coming to George Fraser's event as well.
Awesome.
Y'all get to meet her.
And actually, that's where I first met you. I think the first time I came to the Fraser conference, I can't remember, what is it?
Power Networking
Conference. I met Linda, and we got to talking, and we connected, and I think I was talking about my podcast at that time. And then she came on, she talked about Power Networking, and that, for me, from a relationship, from building business relationships, oh my God, the information that is available in that 4 days that we're there is just phenomenal.
Sun up and sun down. I try to tell people, take a breather, take a break, because you cannot absorb all of it in 4 days. You will get tired.
You can't. You do. You have to pace yourself, and you have to come with a strategy, right?
Absolutely.
So the very first time I went to Power Network Conference, I kind of took it all in. And then the next year I came, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this part and I'm going to do this part. And that was that time. And then the next year I had another strategy and another plan. And then last year when we moved to Houston, it's Houston, right?
Yes.
Houston, I wasn't able to make it, but there was another incredible opportunity that took place that's going to now materialize in the next year, right?
Yes. Fraser Nation is taking over. If you don't know about Fraser Nation, you better Google it.
Hey, Murmur. Welcome to the Business Zone.
So Linda, so that's how we got into our conversation this morning. Linda called, and we are going to have Dr. George Fraser on next week.
Yes.
He's going to Skype through, and we're going to talk about the Fraser Nation, which is really big right now. And it all kind of fit, because our guest today is MJ Duffy. She has written a book, a series of books. There's 4 in the series, and the third book is going to be launched in March, and it's called The Zonkly Chronicles. And so Africa is the background of her book.
Wow.
And so, and that's where we're talking with Fraser Nation, actually creating relationships and a collaboration with Africa and our African American or Black folks, or whatever we want to be called, right?
It is amazing. You cannot miss out. But George will talk all about that.
Right, exactly.
Well, before we get started on the show, I want to plug my upcoming workshop. That's on Tuesday, January 21st. It's a 6-class contract readiness workshop. And we're going to be helping small businesses to become contract ready. And we're looking to get about 50 small businesses contract ready by the end of the year. So with this workshop, we currently have quite a few signed up. We've got 5 seats left. 5. Cinco. Got 5 seats left. So if you guys out there are watching and you want to be able to obtain contracts with the County of Los Angeles, this is your time. This is your opportunity. It's not going to wait for you, and 2020 is not going to just say, hey, here's a bag of money. It's not going to work that way. So you got to go out and get it. So we're going to get you guys ready. So the workshop is going to be held at 380 East Woodbury Drive, or Woodbury Road. I think it's Woodbury Drive. 380 East Woodbury Drive in Altadena, and the zip is 91001. You guys need to make a registration or reserve your seat in the class. Give me a call at 888-882-1168. That's 888-882-1168. It's going to be an amazing class. You guys are going to love it.
Awesome. I want to say hello to everyone that's tuned in to Facebook Live to our show today. Precious and Cornell and Michael and Jerry and Brian and Kari. Hi, Kari. How are you guys? Welcome to the Business Zone with Crystal Gilbert.
I have a lot of Facebook Livers on mine too. Hey, Rick and Bridget and everyone. But you probably to hear the show, you got to go to morrismedialive.com. and click on the show, and then you will see us.
Yes, you'll see us live.
I'm just going live on my phone, but go to morrismedialive.com.
Hi, Dale Saver. Welcome to the Business Zone.
Right, so you guys can reach us and actually see the entire show at Morris Media Studios or morrismedialive.com on YouTube. I think it's Morris Media Studios on YouTube, and that way you get to see all of us, but you can still communicate with us this way.
Yes.
This week did... yesterday, and I tell you, there was a lot of moving parts to this. I launched my first online class.
Yes, talk to me about that.
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
So I didn't have as many attendees, but that's fine.
How many did you have?
I had 23 that registered.
That's quite a bit. How many showed up?
About 5 or 6.
That's not bad. That's your first time. They never knew about you. That's how it usually is. They don't know about you. They don't care about you, so they're not going to tune in. But once they see what happened on the first show.
And here's what I learned. So when you're going through, I have a coach as well. And so, one of the things they say when you're doing online classes, it's good to have a mailing list to get started, right? So that you have at least a following.
Right.
So with my experience, my mailing list is really well used. Which means, and everybody on my mailing list, I kind of know.
So they,
right?
they know.
So they have a relationship with me. Yeah. So that kind of changes dynamics when you're on an online show platform. Because your online platform, the classes they cost more. Right? Because of just the nature of what you're doing, because you're reaching a broader marketplace. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of interesting. And then also, I think if I don't know, I got to play around with it, but I think an anonymous group, it would be a different experience versus a group that already knows me. So I'm going to run the class. I'm going to run it again, the launch part again, and I'm going to launch it I'm going to do it mostly on social media. And then I'm going to see what that pulls in and boost the ads, and as well as use more on LinkedIn and places like that because it's about freelancing as a bookkeeper. And I'm going to teach them how I strategized and how I created my business, which has been in business. I've been in business for 30 years.
In business, we always got to play the rule of 7.
Yeah.
It takes 7 tries to really start getting people responding to you. Yeah. So when we do marketing, we're going to market the first time. People never heard about you. They don't care about you. Second time, third time, you're getting annoying. Fourth time, and then you start getting to the 6th and 7th time. They're going, you know what? Maybe we should start paying attention to this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then sometimes, and this is what I've experienced, sometimes when you're at the 7th and the 8th time, is when a situation occur with you and you're going, you know what? I really need some money. Maybe I should try this credit card, or maybe I need this course.
Yeah,
I should check it out.
Yeah, so that's what I'll do.
Divine intervention.
Yes, I'm gonna run it again.
Yeah.
And but in that time frame, I sat on 2 virtual summits.
Yeah.
And so one, there was 1,000 registers. Last Friday I did that. So now I have a 1,000 new emails.
Hi, Barbara Lindsay.
And I have 1,000 new emails from that one. And then I have another one airing on the 27th.
That's great.
So that should bring in some more. And so then
you're in the getting to know you phase right now.
Yeah.
They're trying to get to know you. So they're going, okay, I don't know her, never heard of her before. But I like what she's saying. Yeah. So let me listen some more.
And the thing about it, relationships is key.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes. As George has taught us, relationships are key. So because they don't know her now, they're in that phase of trying to get to see. Because they got to get a relationship with me, Crystal, before they will really dive in.
So they're trying to date you right now.
Right. Exactly.
Until they get to know you.
Yeah, they're measuring me out.
And that's a good thing, Crystal, because you don't want to be in a relationship with everybody.
Exactly.
So it's about choosing and picking, too, who you're in that relationship with.
Exactly. So, but it was interesting. It was a good experience.
I'm so happy for you.
I am, too.
Yeah. So actually doing the whole course, but it has a lot of moving parts, right? You got to get the emails out and get it marketed. Then once you do that, you got to constantly because of the relationship, constant community. Then you got to figure out how you're going to get paid. So you got to make sure those links are working. You got to make sure all the links are working at all the time. And then in the very first email batch, the links for whatever reason fell out.
Were broken.
And so then I had to go back.
And
so which was a good thing that I was doing it amongst my network, because my network just called me and they called me and they said, hey, Crystal, your link is not working. So then I went back and fixed the links and then made sure it went out and it's okay. So the next round, that piece will be simple.
You got all the bugs
in 6 months, you're going to be a pro
how are you, sir?
Yeah, this is going to be my new way of. But in the meantime, I had 3 other classes going on live, and then I got another class that is going to start live in February. And so it's been a busy year, and it's good. It's only January 18th.
You know, and one of the things that Crystal and I talked about at the end of 2019 is that we want you small businesses to challenge yourself. If you cannot increase sales by 30 or 40% this year, well, you probably should wrap it up. Okay? You should be able to increase sales by 30 to 40%.
That's an amazing challenge.
It is an amazing challenge. And you know why it's an amazing challenge? And you know why it's also doable? Because many small businesses out there, they can obtain government contracts with the county, the city, the state. So if you want to satisfy the 30 to 40%, there you go. That's your opportunity.
And this is for somebody I know. This is apropos for you. You need to listen to this. I'm going to tag you on this Facebook. Exactly what we just talked about this last night.
Yeah. And you also need to do, I just did a series of class. It was a 6-week series with the Urban League on understanding what your business model is and whether or not all the pieces are working, your key partners, your resources, your distribution,
your value proposition.
So this is, and hopefully you guys have gone through and rethought that. And if it's not working, and it's so funny because one of the young ladies that was in the class, she had this wonderful business idea. And so I gave them an assignment to go do their research on that particular industry and making sure you knew how you were going to get paid. So she came back to the class the next week. She goes, I'm going to have to rethink this because it's not enough revenue in it.
See, that is good. That is good because a lot of small businesses enter into business because they like what they're doing and they're thinking everybody's going to like it too. But once they do that research that you told her, then she started seeing the real numbers. Right.
And so she saw, and her demographic is the special needs and demographics. And so she wants to be a fiduciary consolidator. And But for that particular entity, there's not a lot of resources.
There you go.
And so when she was looking at it and she started doing her research and reaching out to others, she found out that there's no way for the money to come in.
Yeah.
Right. So not from the individual.
Yes.
So then I had to say, well, if you're going to do this, then maybe you want to be able to do training and teaching and awareness information, and maybe do it for the different associations that deal with special needs, Alzheimer, autism, all those places where, and this is for the child who is about to emancipate or who's about to age out. He's going to be no longer a child, but he's going to be an adult, right? Yeah. And the parents are always very concerned. If something happens to me, who's going to take care of this child that has special needs and can't take care of them?
And this is so amazing because many small businesses, and again, like Crystal just said, it's right on point. Many small businesses, you're doing business, it's like fishing in a pond, but you don't know how many fish are in the pond. And you're going, okay, I got a big family of 20 to feed. How many fish can I take home tonight? Maybe there's 2 fish in the pond. Do you think that's enough to feed a family of 20? So those are things you want to look at. Now, when you're doing business, if you're B2B, right? B2B means business to business, if that's what you're doing, right? The first thing you want to know is your landscape. You want to know your market. How many small businesses are in the county of Los Angeles? And this is some free information we're giving you guys today. There are 244,000 small businesses in the county of Los Angeles. So you want to take that 244 and break it down for your industry and see how many of those are doing what you're doing so you can market to them.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. So you have to be very definitive. So if they haven't reached that 30% to 40%, then you need to go back and look at and revisit.
Come up with another way to work them numbers.
Right. How do you, and then, my big thing, I was at the Urban League and I was having a meeting yesterday. And so Michael Larson, who's the president over there, he said, Crystal her mantra is, how many multiple streams of income can you create out of one business?
That's right. And that's a good point. That's a very good point. How many multiple streams of income can you generate? How many streams?
Girlfriend and George is the master at that.
Oh,
he has about 7, and he put them all on social media.
Is he Jamaican?
No. But
he is from the island. So is George from the island, George Fraser?
Lumpkin, Georgia.
Oh, okay. I thought originally, his family is from the island.
You know that's a running joke, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
you got more than 2 jobs and they think, are you Jamaican?
So, Miss Linda, so Jazzabration, that's not your business, though. That's
my passion.
Okay.
That's my heart.
Okay.
That's my important work, I call it.
Yes. So tell them a little bit. Because I don't
make a dime on that.
But tell them why you do that, why you were doing that.
I give my heart and soul to those who are unsung, those who in jazz and blues. And I don't deal with, let me clarify. It's straight ahead jazz musicians who back 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago didn't have no agents who was putting them out there on social media, on video, on any of that. Yeah. And these are some players who play with the best. They were the side, we call them side players. The guitar player in the back, the one who playing on the piano, the one who playing on drum. They weren't out front, but they are just as amazing as the leaders that they were playing with. Yes. And so for the past 10 years, I've been honoring and celebrating them, bringing them out of their homes, saying, come on, I would love for the rest of my community who is 50 plus to know about you. We don't know about you. Our mamas knew about you. Yeah. And they didn't even play the music around us enough for us to even be educated about it. Right. But straight ahead jazz is that kind of jazz that most people want to call snobbish, sophisticated. They put all kinds of words and labels on it. But the players themselves are some of the most genuine people on the planet.
I agree.
mean, I've honored names that you may have heard, like Barbara Morrison, Billy Mitchell, Gerald Levert, Gerald Wilson. Buddy Collette was the one who helped me to get it started. Right. But that was my passion to bring them out and celebrate them.
And this is like an amazing archive of those amazing people.
Yes.
That they needed to be more recognized, and that's what you're doing for them.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
And so now I do a First Thursday blues. I had to separate the jazz from the blues, because There are two different worlds. Although some of the players are the same, I separated them out, and I honor the jazz downtown in Los Angeles, and I honor the blues right here in my community in Leimert Park, right at Barbara Morrison's on the first Thursdays of every month. Come on, check us out, Michael Gliona's First Thursday Blues. But it is just my passion to consistently honor them. I'm a lifetime volunteer in my church. That's my work. That's all I do.
Yes, I hear that.
So are you still doing you still have, because the podcast was one entity, but you actually have an event, right?
Yes, every month.
So are you having that event still where you're honoring them, or is that just an ongoing thing?
Yeah, I have that event every first Thursday.
Oh, okay. So that's what it is. Okay.
At Barbara Morrison. It's called the First Thursday Blues. If you look that up on social media, you'll see that. First Thursday Blues. Yeah. Hey, Lisa, how are you, girl? I'm on here with my friends just talking. But that work, I think I will die doing this work. I'm honoring. I will do this until I know.
Now, have you always loved jazz, or were you a musician or a family member, father, brother, cousin?
No, I got the bug from my oldest brother who used to play Alice Alicanda. Every day I came home from school, that song was on. And that's the brother from Africa. I can't think of his name right now. It'll come back to me. But the passion of this came when I was working for some friends in Long Beach.
Oh, okay.
Al Williams is my main mentor at Long Beach Jazz Festival. And this passion of honoring came while I was working with him.
Okay.
And it just has taken off from here. Hey, Nathan, thank you for saying I'm wonderful.
Now, Linda, let me ask you this question. Your work is pretty amazing, and you are tied into a lot of traditional folks who are pretty good at what they do.
Yes.
How do you see that work tying into Martin Luther King? Knowing we're coming up on Monday, it's going to be Martin Luther King. How do you see that work blending in?
Well, you know what? I think the vision of them consistent and the business aspect of this is I've created opportunities for them to always work.
Right.
I'm in spaces and places where I can hire them to come and play.
Right.
In places that they may not have never gone. Like, for
back
example,
in the day, they wouldn't have access to that.
Correct.
Right.
Well, we sure wasn't getting up in the city club back in the day because it wasn't existing.
Exactly.
And that's why I asked that question, because I see that you are doing something for those groups of folks that wasn't readily available to them back in the day. So this is just amazing what you're doing.
And also with jazz, they didn't get the jazz musicians and artists didn't get the recognition unless you were, you made it big. Yeah. That say hip hop or R&B.
Correct.
A lot of times, there's a small enclave of individuals that absolutely love true jazz, right?
Correct.
And so this way, you're bringing them back to life.
Correct. And I only honor those that are alive.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd probably be a millionaire if I was celebrating a dead jazz musician. Because literally, people are, capitalizing on the Miles Davis. Miles Davis ain't even here no more. But those I made it my passion to only celebrate those who were alive. So you had to be a living legend in order for me to celebrate you.
Right.
And so it is a amazing opportunity just to be able to see them perform. They're still performing in their glory. They still are packing audiences. They are still being recognized and enjoyed.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, people are loving it. We did a series at my church called Jazz Vespers in 2017. Yeah. I cannot even get away from people asking me, can you please bring it back? Right. I'm just one person, y'all. I got too much stuff to do.
But you know what, though? The folks in the community, Linda, we're talking to Linda Morgan here on the Business Zone. She's amazing.
Linda Sam now. Sam I am.
Oh, Linda
Get that
Sam.
Right, man. She got married on December. I got a pen to prove it.
She just got married on December 8th.
2019.
So she wants us to recognize that her name is Linda Sam.
Honey.
Okay?
Taco Sam
but
on
she
Facebook.
has historical knowledge on this industry. And she is like one of those folks who, when you go through history and you've got someone who really knows history, they can tell you from day one, that's her. She can tell you all of that. So it's really amazing to have her here on the Business Zone.
But part of our culture, because jazz and music has always emanated out of our culture, and that's celebrating us in all of our glory, which, when you asked about Martin Luther King, and then we have Black History Month coming up, that's that celebration, that cultural thing. that a lot of times when we talk about us, I hear this so many times that we don't have culture. We do. We have amazing rich culture, and many people appropriate our culture because it is so amazing. Yeah. So we have to recognize everything that we do is our culture, and anything that someone has copied and taken it with them and decided they want to embrace it, that's our culture, and that came from the motherland, and you just can't deny it. Right. Last night I was at, and I thought this was so interesting. I was at there was a meet the candidates that's running for board supervisor for
Margaret Thomason.
Yeah. So it was all of the new candidates, and so there's a young man who is I think his name is Regard. He's running for board. Smart young man. But there was a comment because they were asking about gentrification in our community. They were talking about how do we maintain strong in our communities when we're being pushed out of our communities. And so he made a comment, and it took a little bit for a few people in the room. He says, well, when we really come down to it and we go back to the DNA strand, 0%, he said, how do you put it? 0% are not related to us, meaning everybody's related to us. And so there were a couple of white people in there. What does it mean? And they're like, everyone came. So if everyone came, then our culture is very prevalent in everybody.
Yeah. That is so true.
And so that's the interesting. Jazz is, when you hear and you listen to, and you're a musician, so you know from reggae, was a reggae artist in Jamaica. All of that infused from African music, right?
From the drums, from the beginning.
From the very, very beginning. Yes. So that's our culture. So you may not be getting paid for it, but it's good to do what we're passionate about.
I think she will at some point because she's got knowledge. You got institutional knowledge that many folks who've been around musicians don't even have.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, Alfred Foster, welcome to the Business Zone. Mustafa, welcome
Pamela,
to the Business Zone.
Thank you for joining, girl.
How's Alfred Foster on yours and mine?
I know. You can watch it on both. But you know what? The interesting thing about the relationship building that we started talking about with George Fraser, because he's coming here on the end of the month, the 30th. He'll be here Thursday at an event at the Crown Plaza. I wanted to plug that in for you guys. Look at it on Facebook. Fraser Nation comes to Los Angeles, but I learned how to network from him 14 years ago. I've now taken those networking skills up to the City Club, Los Angeles.
Yes.
And it is because of relationships that you are even in business. And George says it so eloquently. Without them, you have no business being in business.
True.
Yeah.
And so that's the amazing thing about building relationships with people. And I'm going to watch you as you grow, and the relationships that you grow online, you will be able to see how those relationships get formed.
Right.
And I too, when I started my business 30 years ago, I went to a conference that Jerry Foster had put on. It was downtown at the Biltmore. That was my first introduction to
2008.
George. 2008. And I was like, oh, this man is awesome. This is awesome. And so actually the very first one was over at Facial Central. George,
that was in 2007.
Yeah, so that was the very first one, and I read his books, and I had met him through a guy named Mike Shedd. You know Mike, right? And so I met him really in the early 90s. Mike took me when George had his book Success Runs in Our Race. He took me to an event that they were putting the book together. And Barbara Lindsay was there and a couple of people. But whoever was his handlers, they forgot and all left. And so it was just me and my girlfriend there. And George went, I have no one to take me to the airport. And we're like, we'll take you. And I spent 2 hours with George. George and I are born on the same day. And so after that, he came every year on our birthday, and then I always met him, and I met Deborah Thorne that way. So but I geared how I networked around him as well.
Amazing.
And that's why I know so many people.
Amazing.
People call me the collector, so we got to go to break.
Yeah, we're at the bottom of the hour right now, so we're going to go ahead and take our customary break at 3:30. But when we come back, we're going to bring on our very special guest in the studio. We can't wait to hear from this lady. She's phenomenal. So, Crystal, do you have any